Hey everyone, welcome to I Totally Love It. My name is Susan, and today I'm working on two of Lorie Enchanted Dream 71, her monthly collabs. So last Monday was supposed to be on the 11th, Shop My Stash, and Friday was supposed to be a question a month. And I've just been busy, and I just didn't get done, and I'm not going to beat myself up over that. They'll get done when they get done. So I'm actually going to start with the second one, a question a month, because I've actually gone ahead and answered the question and written my response in my vintage Victorian journal. So let me find it. All right. So I have this little cluster that I use as like kind of a corner tuck or side tuck, and a little piece of ledger paper. The question was, what turned out better than expected? And I put speaking craftfully, not craftily, craftfully. My junk journals turn out better and better each time. So I feel like, every time you do one, you improve or you learn, oh, shouldn't do something like that, or that didn't work, or I'll do better next time. But that is that for that challenge. And so the other one was Shop My Stash. And so Shop My Stash is one where you use stuff in your stash and you make the item she's asked. And the item for August is to make a trifold. And I didn't make it last weekend because I just kind of hummed and hawed over what was I going to make. And I'm now kind of getting into the meat of my creating my Junk Journal Madness journal. And the theme is Vintage Cooking with Faith. And I thought, well, I could make a trifold tag and decorate the front. So I pulled out last April 2024, very first Junk Journal Madness was a recipe journal. And so I had a lot of digital still left over from that. In fact, this digital, these come in like 3 different sizes. And this lady here, larger size, was the one I put on the front of that journal. And I'm guessing I used the smaller version of her on something in that journal. But I have those. I have some vintage advertisements, labels. And of course, this was left over from my Porch Prints kit. This, I can't remember whose that is. There's little cherries on it though. And maybe it was Raindrop Lila. Maybe that's hers. Maybe. Anyways, all that to say, I'm going to make a trifold tag. And so here's my journal. It's kind of this lime green. And inside, oops, y'all getting a peek at stuff that I haven't recorded yet. This vintage, I think it's bed sheets. And so it's kind of the lime green and the orange and the yellows and the browns, very 70s, 60s, 70s. And I thought I pulled out 2 green because I wanted the thinner scrapbook paper. So think like Joann's brand. What is that? Park Lane Studio. Park Lane. Has 2 different shades, but I think that one is too cool, and this one is warm enough. So I'm gonna go with this one, and I am making a trifold. It doesn't have to be a tag, but I'm gonna go with the trifold, and I need to cut it down to size because this obviously is 12 by 12, and I don't want it to be 12 by 12. I like this like burlap texture. That's fun. So how tall do I want it? Let me just make it 6 inches tall. Just cut this roughly in half. Now I will say this: We Are Memories Keeper cutter here this is like the all-in-one kind of thing. It does a bunch of things. I struggle with where exactly is the 6, because that's a 6-inch score line. So when you want to cut it 6, where do you go? Do you go to the end of that score line or the beginning of that score line or the middle? So if you know, let me know. All right, so let's see how they came out. Let's see, the bottom one is a little. So maybe you go into the beginning of the score line. I'm going to go with the shorter one. All right, it's trifold. So, and this is 12 inches long, and 12 divided by 3 is 4. So I could score at 4 and 4, but I'm just going to fold it. I teach math, and I try to get the kids to learn how to kind of eyeball things. And just kind of roll it until it's not going to be perfect, but you just make it as close to perfect as you can. Oh, see, that popped out right there. So we're going to hold that and crease that down. Oop. There we go. And yeah, okay. Keep it that way. All right, and then I'm going to trim, like a tag here. So let's do that, which is something you can do with that big tool. But, you know, if you don't have that tool, what do? Well, you just kind of eyeball it. So this is kind of a wide tag. 6 inches tall, and normally your normal tag dimensions are twice the height as it is the width, or the length. So if it's 3 inches wide, it's 6 inches tall. So I'm at 6. So naturally this should have been 3, but it is 4. So I would consider this kind of in the jumbo category or wide category. So you're not going to want to do like a small corner, because that's maybe going to look a little funny. So come down, cut, and then you're going to take that piece, flip it over. You're going to do a horizontal flip, and you're going to line it up here, and there you go. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay. Now, if you feel like that's too angled, you can always trim a little bit off the top. Of course, that'll make it shorter, so keep that in mind. So I'm not going to do anything on the inside here. I'm just going to decorate the front. And I have pulled out all these things that were already cut and hanging out in the bottom of the... I have these bags. If you've been here, you've seen. And this is the bag that I try to put all my recipe stuff in, cooking stuff. That's fun. That fits on there. There's also that. Ooh, that's nice and big. Black currant cordial, dilute to taste. That's probably too small. If I did that, this is going to go quicker than I thought. All right, let's find our ladies, because we could add a lady. So these are like vintage pattern, I believe. Pattern covers are on the cover of patterns. That's what it looks like. Maybe the lady in the black dress again. That size right there. Or the tall one. Or the lady in red. Let's see what else we have here. We've got the lady who's trying to whip up some tacos. I always trim her out. All right, let me fussy cut some ladies, and I'll be back, and we'll see what we decide. Okay, I think I'm going to go with her. I did cut her out, but maybe these were AI created, or when you try to remove the background, sometimes it kind of jacks up your image. So I'm not sure, but that leg's messed up, and it's messed up on the different sizes. So something with editing. She looks great, so I think I'm gonna go with her. And so I think what I'm gonna do is put this label here in the center. So she's gonna end up covering up a little bit though. And then you want to kind of ground your paper dolls, as we call them, where something's kind of going, through the ankle, behind the ankle, lined up with the ankle, so that it doesn't look like they are floating. And then I think I may add something to this inside flap when you open it up, so we'll see. So let's get this part down. I'm using Barely Art Glue. I haven't used it since last weekend, so let's see. Doing great. Okay. So yeah, you can buy these labels, these new old stock labels that were never put on the containers. And okay, I don't want her hanging off. So she's going to cover up a little bit of the black currant cordial part. And that is something I have to get over. I don't know if anybody else struggles with that, where you don't want to cover something, but that's part of layering, is you're going to have to give up something. Let's see if I can scoot her up. There we go. Actually, that's great. I did have to, use my craft knife to get in there and cut out that white space. Like, so she has that white space in her armpit there. And I like these Tim Holtz. I think these are the 5-inch size set of some snipping scissors. I do have a link with a shop, and if you want to look at the links in there, that does help me as a Amazon associate, as they call it, or affiliate, Amazon associate affiliate. So get a small bit if you buy something. So sometimes you may see something that my husband wants to buy, or I want to buy in there. That just go through the link. So I get a little something. Plus, if you don't have so many clicks or whatever, you do lose that option, and then you cannot reapply. At least that's how it used to be. All right, that might be. I think that fits with what we're doing. Peanut butter. No. So it's very like Tea Party. I may just stick with Keen's mustard. The national condiment. Mustard. As supplied to His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales. Now, I could have gone and cut out some other ones, but I'm trying to use what's cut up. Anybody else have fingers like that? I drop stuff. Okay, so if you didn't put something here, I guess you could still journal here. But look at that, you got all that journaling space, and you could be the one who does better at doing your triple fold. So if I had scored it, I probably could have done better. That's from my scissors. I was holding it too tight. Yeah, so these were all right. These were great. I like the lady in red here. But I really did want something with an apron. And she was facing the wrong way. Plus, she looks like she's putting dishes away. And she's in the garden picking strawberries. And I don't know. I feel like she could have a cloth in her hand and be cleaning, the credenza. All right, and I've already lost my pen. There it is. So, once again, this is Shop My Stash 2025, hosted by Lorie at Enchanted Dream 71. And for August, we're making a trifold. And watch her video, because at the end of her video every month, she will tell you what we're doing for the next month. So you can prepare. And if you like to plan ahead, I like to plan ahead. Sometimes I just don't do ahead. And it could be for whatever theme you're working on, or it could just be something to add to your stash. And also the other one was a question a month. Once again, watch her video and she will give you the question for the next month. She also has Crazy Washi Wednesday. And then there's one more coming up on the last Saturday, or the fourth Saturday of the month, called 52 Writing and Collaging Prompts 2025. For me, the first two, the washi and the shop mustache, are makes, and the last two are journaling prompts, and I like that, so it makes me journal. And they're not long, unless you want to make them long. It's not like a daily recount of what you did today. It's just fun to answer the questions. All right, so there we go. Now I used some stuff at my stash, and I made something for my August Junk Journal Madness Journal, who is guest collaborating with me is Teresa Conway Hayes, and we are doing vintage cooking with Faith. So I have faith that her tacos are going to come out great, because maybe she made herself a little drink with blackcurrant cordial. I don't know. Okay, you guys, I appreciate you and your time. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and check out Lorie's channel below in the description. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, bye-bye.